Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Winds of Change. I feel a bit bad today. I've not really done anything. It's about 5 o'clock already and I should have filmed this a long time earlier in the day. So it's only going to be one episode of Winds of Change. It's getting to a point where there's been times on this mind you, I'll talk about that later. Let's just speak to Lei Zheng and get the last side quest. Last episode we did that other one, and I thought that this last one was actually like a follow-up to that. It's not at all. So I wonder whether all that story of Daisuke and all that kind of stuff is actually somehow was meant to be concluded in part 3 side quests, but then they never did any side quests in part 3, so now that's just like hanging there a little bit. I suppose there's a bit of a conclusion, but it's for the most part gone, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, we'll speak to Lei Zheng about this last quest, Vassal State. Again, this one also only unlocks once you've completed all of part 2 primary quests. And Lei Zheng says, despite their constant warring, the Luxons and the Kurziks have always had a fairly stable relationship with the Empire of the Dragon. Since they're vassal states, the Emperor is obligated to listen to their requests and act accordingly, though he remains, as always, a neutral party in their war. I know of your work to bring them together in order to defeat the betrayer, but it seems like lately things have been unravelling. The invasion and attacks by the Ampharanjade Brotherhood have put them on edge, and they've both sent out emissaries to speak with the Emperor. I'm a little worried about them starting a fight in the city, so would you mind going to talk to them to make sure nothing is going on? I believe I saw them head off to the Raisu Pavilion. Nothing as exciting as political discourse. Okay, so we've got vassal states. I will always, I swear to God, oh yeah, and we don't need to zone, we just got to go up. I swear to God, I will always accidentally press N when I'm trying to go to M. Oh well, that's one thing I will never fix through the Let's Play. Actually, I've been having a lot of comments lately on like people watching, since I've been doing Guild Wars 2 Daily, lots of other people have been like watching back through prophecies and stuff, like new people who found the channel. And like these past few days, have you guys found playlists that, because I'm kind of assuming people watching these episodes are like a different audience to those going through the old ones. Have you guys noticed playlists like messing up? I know that on my channel I haven't really updated the playlist for a while, but apparently it's all jumbled up and I've literally got no idea how to fix it, but loads of people have been complaining about that. So I'm just wondering, has anyone had, well mind you, it'll be days before you guys even see this, so is there even any point me mentioning it? Oh well, anyway, so we're going to come out here, and as we can see, there's some new NPCs for us to speak to. We have the Emperor's Hand, as ever, who... is he actually a part of this quest? Or is he just wants to... yeah, he wants to talk to me about different stuff. So we've got a Luxon emissary and a Kurzik emissary, so let's speak to them. The Luxon one says, what do you want, outsider? You may have won the convocation, but I won't forgive you for breaking the spear of our hero. I love this, right? The Kurzik guy's got some dialogue about this as well. These are things that were bigged up to be so important in factions, and do you remember my not my one complaint, but my biggest complaint about the faction storyline is the story of the urn and the spear, because they just mean nothing, absolutely nothing for the storyline. There's like this whole portion that they are supposed to be this thing, and then it just leads to nothing, and it's just a massive slap across the face. Well, here they actually mention that, and indeed he's mentioned the convocation here as well, which also was just referenced like that one time, which is kind of cool. So I like that they did this dialogue. Anyway, we can say, why have you come here? He says, as if you don't know. We've had some of our diplomats attacked by some of the gangs around here, as well as some of the members of the Emperor's own ministry. I'm here to protest this kind of treatment, as well as the increase in taxes. First they attack us, then they ask us for money for more weapons. Absurd, as if the dealings with those dirty Kurziks weren't bad enough. I like this because it actually sheds a little bit more light on how the Kurziks and the Luxons function alongside the Empire, which is always something that was ridiculously vague before now. So we can say, that's pretty rude. I was the one who protected the diplomats. And he says, you certainly did, but what about afterwards? Those gang members are still wandering the Jade Sea, interrupting our business. I'm staying here until the Emperor listens to me and gets someone to remove them. Can't you just remove them yourselves? The bulk of our forces are engaging in the Kurziks right now, and we don't have the men to spare. Anyway, this is the fault of the Emperor and the Ministry to begin with, so they should be the ones taking responsibility. If you're so worried, why don't you go remove them? Yeah, I think we all saw that coming. Let's speak to the Kurzik emissary. Aren't you the one who broke St. Victor's urn? Are you here to break the Emperor's sacred artifacts now? No, why have you come here? Don't act like you aren't aware of it. I know you were there when the Ministry and the other hooligans attacked our citizens. I'm here to get the Emperor to clean up this mess, and to protest the taxes that have been levied against the Kurzik people in order to fund their little war. We have enough trouble dealing with these barbaric Luxons to waste time dealing with the problems of the Ministry and its gangs. It's pretty rude. I was the one who protected the diplomats. Be that as it may, these reprobates are still lurking around in our forest. Until they're removed, I'm not leaving. Can't you just remove them yourselves? The Luxons are a bigger threat than ever right now, so we can't afford the troops. Besides, I think the Emperor should clean up his own mistakes, unless you're offering to do it yourself. So, very, very similar what the two guys have to say. Maybe I'll give my speech again, or, you know, bring attention to what I said last episode about how... okay, so I guess we're doing this side first. By the way, Wiki's got no maps for this. And I do believe this is another one of those quests that I've never actually done before. So I don't know. All I know is we have to kill 5 groups in 2 different areas, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, maybe they could have had some slightly different dialogue for the Kurtic guy and the Luxon guy there. I mean, it was very slightly different, but you can definitely see that they were just a means to the same end. I mean, if we had a different task in the Jade Sea than in the Echo Forest, that would have been cool. But I don't know. They seem to have this insane need to have everything balanced and sorted out. Oh, okay, let's start at the Leviathan Pits. Leviathan Pits, not Leviathan, Leviathan. So yeah, what was I talking about earlier that I was gonna... Oh yeah, that it's really late in the day when I've started filming this. I don't know what it is. It's happened a lot of times. I think this is just a part of me as a person, a part of my personality. But whenever there's a part like coming up with a channel where I know I have to do a lot of work, like I've got to get a lot of stuff sorted out. I've got a backlog worked up from ages ago that I was going to do when I like started work, which I thought was going to be next week, so that's still being pushed behind. I still do feel a little bit bad about that, because that includes footage that was taken when I did like some challenge missions with people absolutely ages ago now, and they probably think that it's not coming out, but it is coming out. If you're still watching, it's going to be when I start work. But anyway, like I've got that backlog sorted out, which is fine, but also I've got a couple of episodes of Guild Wars 2 Daily I wanted to film in advance for when I'm doing the beta stuff. I've got so many plans for the beta, way more than I think I can actually pull off at this point, because I have a big plan that I want to do, but then I've also realised in recent days that's missing out a large chunk of what the beta has to offer. And I'm talking just about the PvE world, by the way. That's all I'm really going to be focusing on. So there's that now that I'm thinking of as well, that I kind of have got to... So there's just so much shit I need to get prepared. I want to do some videos maybe that can be uploaded over that weekend that talk about the beta a little bit, but aren't necessarily my beta coverage, just so that I can be sort of there making a presence on YouTube, you know, while the beta stuff's going on, because at the end of the day that's when most people's going to be searching for the stuff. So I don't know, there's just so much stuff that I want to do, and I've made all these plans and things, and finishing all this Winds of Change stuff is a part of it. But whenever that happens to me on this channel and I have a really clear idea of everything I want to do, that's the moment that I start to just not do stuff. I start to procrastinate. I play other games more than I should be. And now you look at me today, I've been perfectly happy to wake up every morning lately and film these episodes. But now today I've just... And I can't even put my finger on it. I just kind of feel like, oh, I can't be bothered with this right now. And now it's like really late in the day, and I should be doing Guild Wars 2 Daily right now. But instead, do you guys get like that? I mean, maybe it's just me. I used to, when I was at school and college and stuff, exact same problem. Whenever something big was coming, could have been well within my reach to do it. I was perfectly fine, and I had the capability to do the essay or do the coursework or do whatever the hell it was. But there was just something about it that there were things sort of building up that I had to do that then put me off it, and I don't know, it's kind of annoying. It does annoy me that I'm like that, but it's always kind of held me back in certain places, and then I always end up like having this mad thing right at the last moment where I end up just getting out as best what I possibly can. But I don't know, maybe I'm just telling you because I want somebody to be like, oh, don't worry, I'm like that as well, everybody's like that, and I can be like, yeah, life goes on. Oh, anyway, so the next group is over here. Aside from that, I'm not really sure I've got much to talk about today. Let's see. Yeah, so loads of people have been watching through the old stuff, which is pretty cool. It's nice. See, the thing is, Guild Wars 2 Daily, like, I don't actually think it's as good as what I've been doing in the Let's Play, personally. I mean, I wouldn't have done the Let's Play for so long if I didn't. But it's nice that that's kind of started to work as this thing that is introducing people to everything else we did. Like, one guy lately was commenting on Thunderhead Keep, and he left a comment on every single video. And it was nice to just, like, look back and be like, oh, fucking hell, yeah, remember that? Remember when gameplay... Like, I do look at this way, right? I started Prophecies, and I knew more about the gameplay of the game, and I was more on the ball with the gameplay than I was with the story. I knew that there was a lot to the story, and I knew a fair chunk of the story, and I knew that it was easy to miss a lot of the story as you played through, which was the reason why I made it story focused in the first place. But as the Let's Play went on and on and on, it kind of shifted. It changed from being all mechanical stuff, all this really interesting stuff that a lot of real, like, actual players of the game could appreciate, to I slowly got worse and worse at the gameplay as I forgot more of it, as I wasn't needing to use it as soon as we started factions, and I started to care a lot more. It's interesting to have seen that shift, and it's nice to know that there are people who don't play Guild Wars 1 who are still watching Prophecies and still do kind of appreciate that stuff. Like, I had someone asking me, oh, hey, if you play the game with a party, like I am right now, is it's still just as easy to run past all of the enemies as I did when I was doing like prophecies. Like that was the one real advantage of going through solo. I could just run through most of the trash mobs. And like these are people that just haven't played the game, and that's such an alien question to me because it's so clear once you've played the game for any short amount of time that you can't just run past people. If you're in a team, you've got to fight the whole way unless everyone's got some kind of running build, and heroes and henchmen certainly aren't capable of running a build like that. So yeah, it was really weird to see a comment like that, and that people can still kind of watch and appreciate it, which was quite nice. Anyway, it looks like these groups are getting a little bit bigger as we go along. How many is that I've killed now? It just says clear out the remaining. Oh, they killed me, really? This is normal mode. I didn't even go in hard mode. That's disgusting. I think what it is my hero. You'll notice actually, I remember Magical Mike going on a rant about this a while ago. Her elite, actually, she can't target exactly who she wants to heal up. So while you get a lot of healing, it's unreliable, pretty much. I remember a while ago, Mike was like, oh, these builds, you always get these ritualist healers going in the game, and they think they've got this amazing build, but they can't just, if someone gets spiked out, they can't react to that. And it's true that they can't. But the reason why I still stick with this elite is because if I were to go with one of the other ones, like one of the weapon skills, like Jinrei's weapon, that kind of overlaps with Splinter weapon, which I don't like so much, which is why I kind of stick with that. Anyway, there we go. I think that's those 5 done. Yeah, and now we get to go to the Echo Valley Forest. Thank God it's an area I've already been. Wait, so if this one kind of required we go from the pits, and this one probably requires we go from... Well, no, you have to go from the armory, because you can't go out into the grove from the grove outpost, can you? Right, so let's run on over. This outpost's so big, it always gets me. Alright, the Eternal Grove. Let's do it. I also like coming out here. Why was I... Oh, yeah, I was down here off screen the other day when I was running down to... I don't know where I was running to, actually. Oh, yeah. Was it when I was on Peter playing back through? I had to, like, move through here. It's quite cool coming around here. Because I used to spend a lot of time here. That boss up there, I'm sure I've mentioned this when we were here in Factions. That Scar Eater actually drops a pretty good staff. It's not really worth anything anymore. Nobody cares about it. But for a while, you could sell those for like 20, 30k. And in fact, it's been pulled from my channel now. But one of the first ever videos on the channel was me showing my farm of this using Shadow Form and Sliver Armor. And yeah, man, that was like one of the first videos. I've pulled most of those now. Mainly, one of them I had to pull was me showing all of the stuff. Actually, how far away do we have to go? Not too far, just over there. Yeah, one of them was me showing my way around the Halloween outpost, which has now been pulled. Obviously, there's another version of that on the channel now, so it doesn't really matter. But the costume brawl, but I had to pull that because that had a Lost Prophets song on it. Which I didn't want to like have any copyright strikes, and that was a copyright strike for a while. What else did I pull? Guild. Wait, is the 360 controller video still up there? I think I might have pulled that for some random reason at some point. That was the first video I ever put up, I believe, because I was just so proud of that. I'd spent so long figuring out, like, using, I can't even remember what the program was anymore, but figuring out how to have Guild Wars, an MMO, viable and playable on just a 360 pad, and it worked really well. And it was a video of me playing. Oh, really? They're down there? There's no way down there. Oh, yeah, you can cross the bridge. And I was so proud of that. Like, and I was playing PvP with it on the video. That was one of the very first videos I had out as well. In fact, I think that was the first, I believe. And then there was another one of me. The only one left is me with a guildie, and I'm teaching people how the special ops missions in Eye of the North work. And I'm teaching them through annotations because I was too nervous to have my voice actually like speak. Man, I used to be so nervous about that kind of thing. I used to be like terrified to get on like the guild's vent and stuff. Terrified, absolutely terrified. Couldn't say a word, which is why that was all like annotations. And you can kind of still hear it. You can hear it quite a lot, actually. Back at the start of Prophecies, you can hear I'm like, I can't even replicate it anymore. I can't. I think most of it was just my microphone and how it sounded back then, because it wasn't actually that I changed my microphone for a very long time. I didn't change it till Eye of the North, but I figured out how best to use that microphone after a little while. So that's why when the big change kind of happened. I think it's a little bit in... For the most of the change of the voice comes just as I get a bit more confidence as we go through Factions. In fact, I used to have this thing where I'd watch back the old videos I did, and I'd feel like I was talking really fast. And people have always told me I talk quite fast. Some people have said, oh, I can't understand you. I think those are people that maybe speak a second language and not English as a second language, sorry, maybe not very well. But a lot of people tell me, oh, I can't understand you. But most people are like, you speak fast but clearly, which is good. But I always used to... look back at the videos and feel like I was speaking quite fast and energetically and interestingly. But I'd look back at the video like a week or a month later, and seriously, if you would have spoken to me this time a year ago, maybe a year and a few months, I would swear blind that YouTube on some level slowed down videos the longer they were uploaded, because I'd go back and listen to something I'd uploaded like maybe a week or two before, and I'd think I was sounding really slow and boring, and there was just nothing to my commentary at all, and it used to really annoy me, really piss me off. And I think that slowly maybe changed a little bit as Factions went along, because if you open at the start of Factions, and I regret doing this, the very start of Factions is like me going, "Hello everyone," and like proper really loud and just a bit obnoxious, and that was me just really trying to fight against this feeling I had that my voice was getting more and more boring as time went along. And I look at that now and I'm like, that's way over the top. Why do you open that up? I can imagine so many people clicking that video being like, okay, I'll get into Factions, hearing that, and then being like, no, fuck you, you sound obnoxious and annoying. You sound like one of these like kids that just scream into the microphone all the time, which is what I'm like, if I'm perfectly honest. When I'm watching a video, if somebody's like screaming and clipping through the mic right at the start of a video, I tend to like be put off pretty quickly by that, I'm not gonna lie. So I always kind of look at that and get a bit annoyed, but that's why that used to happen. Wow, I've really gone on a bit of a rant about old videos. But yeah, anyway, so then like as Factions went on, I guess I just stopped caring about it. Nightfall happened, and I think it's just as Istan ends, I realised something amazing essentially I could do with my mic, that my old headset could record my voice even if I didn't have like the separate power going into it, which meant I could get rid of a load of distortion and it sounded a bit better. Then of course in Eye of the North I bought what I'm using now, which is a purchase I actually kind of regret getting, because I thought it would mean I'd have more freedom. I wouldn't, you know, have to get a mic, like a headset on every time I wanted to record. I could just literally hit record at any time and just keep sitting all natural like. But the thing is, if I'm too far away from this, it sounds like I'm in a tin can, so I always have to be leaning forward, and it's actually way less freeing. And I don't even think the quality's that much better than the headset used to be. Honestly, I don't think it's that much better. Or maybe it's just because my speakers aren't very good quality and I can't hear better anyway. I kind of hope that that's the case, because otherwise it was a bit of a waste of money. But yeah, there we go. That's that. Is that done? Are we all done? Or was there another group? Oh, there is another group. Oh, it's ages away. Oh, okay, well, what else can I talk about? What else is going on? I talked about, a couple of episodes ago, I don't really have any anecdotes for it, but a couple of episodes ago I talked about Legend of Grimrock that I've been playing. It's like a few people that I watch on YouTube did some coverage of it a while ago. And yeah, I got into it. It's a pretty good game. I've almost finished it, but that's what I've been wasting all of my time on today now. And it's really good. If you want, like... and I'm not an old school gamer, right? Not at all. And I don't even really like the term in itself really that much. But if you like those kinds of more old games that you really have to think, and there'll be some actual reasonable puzzles in there, and they'll be fairly brutal. There's not going to be someone like constantly telling you exactly where to go and always in your face about all kinds of stuff, and you actually get that kind of enjoyment of figuring stuff out for yourself. And then definitely that's a good game for that. It very much functions off of those old philosophies, and it's really fun to just go through. And you just, where there's so little of that extra crap that's now in games, where something's always popping up and telling you, oh, go this way, oh, do this, you can just like really stop and get absorbed into it and just listen to the sounds of the dungeons and just really start thinking. And it's good, and it will make you shit yourselves at certain moments because stuff will jump out at you that's absolutely terrifying. It's a good game. But yeah, I've almost finished. There's like 10 floors to it, and I'm on floor 9 now, which is like, I think the last 2 floors are these big like temple complex areas. The floor above that was this floor called the Vault, that was really quite good actually, and you've got to like essentially break into this area and steal this sword that will actually let you get deeper into the temple and stuff. It's cool. It is cool. It reminds me very much of one of my old games. You know, I talked about that series I was going to do at one point. I shouldn't say that in past tense. I still do plan on doing that at some point, where I like slowly play through all like the games from my childhood, or like slowly going back in time, or the most influential games for me, but kind of before PlayStation 2 era, I'd say. Maybe there would be a couple of PS2 games in there. Like one game I always used to love was something called Azuric Rise of Parathia that got terrible press because it was hyped up to be something that it wasn't before it came out, and it flopped for that reason. But I was quite young when it came out, so I just kind of played it and never really experienced any of that, and I just enjoyed it on its own merits, and it was a really good game. But so that's the kind of game that maybe one of the latest games that would end up being on that series. But yeah, one of them that I would be doing is this game. Might and Magic is like quite a big series now. Now, like, it's all about heroes of Might and Magic. But I believe it actually started. It was actually two different like series that ended up merging together, which is quite interesting. And they were like set in the same universe in the end or something. A really, really long history. Anyway. Like the game Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, which got really good press, is probably one of the latest ones. Well, no, actually, even that's quite old now. Anyway, yeah, there used to be a series, and there was like 13 of these games in the end, just Might and Magic. I played 6, Might and Magic Mandate of Heaven, and this game, and it's like a first-person game where you're running around, right? But you're actually controlling 4 characters. And this game, Legend of Grimrock, is also the same as that, so it very much reminds me of that. And also, Might and Magic, that game had some insanely awesome dungeons. And obviously, Legend of Grimrock is just a dungeon. You don't go outside or anything, it's just a dungeon working your way down. So in some ways, it's less of a game than Might and Magic was, but it's also got a lot of polish, and even though it's based on old game design philosophies, it's brought with it all the stuff that we've learned is fun from, you know, the last like 10-20 years. So it's got a good mix where Might and Magic maybe just kind of dicks you over in certain places. But yeah, there's my rant about completely non-Guild Wars related stuff for ages and ages and ages. There's really not that much to talk about with this quest though, I suppose. Is that it? Are we done now? Oh, we're still not done. How many groups were there? Alright, do you know what? I'm gonna have to do it, guys. Or did I just go the wrong way here? Are we just killing Jade Brotherhood even though we shouldn't really be killing a Jade? See, I wish the Winds of Change had gone into more about the Wardens as well. I mean, Christ, these guys... See, I wonder if they're just... No, see, that doesn't even make sense. I think I kind of wish that... who doesn't wish this? Who doesn't wish that they could have had a say when, you know, something new was coming out? But there's so many cool things that Winds of Change just doesn't go on about, and the Wardens are one of them. See, I would be tempted to say just now that the reason they don't go into the Warden's storyline here is because they have big plans for it in Guild Wars 2. Like, they do have some kind of story or some relation there. Like I'm tempted to say that there might be, because I'm a believer in the theory, but some relationship there between these guys and the Sylvari or something like that, right? And you could say, oh, well, so they've just ignored it for Winds of Change because they didn't want to give anything away. But that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all, because obviously in Guild Wars... Because obviously all the Winds of Change is trying to be is something that will then lead people into the plots of Guild Wars 2 and get you familiar with the kind of movements that are going to be happening in Cantha. So this would have been the perfect time for them to do it. It was the perfect time for them to do so much. Couldn't we have learnt more about the Celestials? I mean, all we've really had was small off-the-cuff references, and they're so few and far between. Really, am I not able to get to them from here? Do I have to run like a mile around in a big circle to get there? Yeah, I've got to go across that bridge. Ah, so I didn't even have to come over here. Yeah, but all we really get is off-the-cuff references, and they're so few and far between that every time they've come up while I've been Let's Playing this, I've kind of felt the desire to point it out to you guys and say, hey, look, they have done this kind of stuff here and there, but it's not enough, is it really? I don't know. I've been giving Winds of Change such a bad rep, and I feel bad about that because it is free content, and I remember all the people complaining when Winds of Change Part 1 came out. And, oh, it's not what I wanted, oh, it's so boring, oh, there's so much, just cleansing the afflicted. Really, none of us have the right to complain about this at all. It's free content. It's some guys that are still very passionate about Guild Wars 1, working at ArenaNet. I mean, I suppose you can still say that they're doing it for the money, because they always do release costumes for this. So it's not like they're being entirely selfless. They are still functioning as a business, and they do still recognise that they have a market here in Guild Wars 1 that they can tap into if they release new content. But that really pissed me off when Winds of Change Part 1 came out and everyone was just complaining about it non-stop, how bad they all thought it was, and it was just completely uncalled for. So yeah, I've been complaining a little bit, but don't get me wrong, I think it's awesome what ArenaNet did here, and on the whole, I still do think that it's worthwhile playing through this. Otherwise, hey, I wouldn't even be showing this to you guys, would I? Let's be quite frank about this. But there we go. Quest updated, Vassal States. Let's go back up into Raisu Pavilion. And that is the last side quest that Winds of Change has to offer. Guys, that's it. There's none in part 3, and part 3 consists of 6 quests. That doesn't mean that we're in the last 10 episodes of Guild Wars 1 ever, obviously. Tomorrow we'll be seeing dialogue, as I said, and in fact I might be doing it on Peter Redhill, the dialogue, because he hasn't, like, you know, I mentioned previously that we saw like that spoiler, that Tengu dialogue that I'm not sure actually will come up again. Peter Redhill obviously hasn't seen those, and yet he has access to much of the continent. So I might like show that off of on Peter. I'll just finish that last quest for Peter, and they'll both be kind of at the same point. That might be cool if I do that, and that's how we'll do the dialogue episode, and we'll see all of that. Then we've got 6 episodes for part 3. And then we have like 1 episode where I'll show off all the rewards I possibly can and hopefully get the most awesome reward, which me and Mike, sadly, despite the amount of times we've completed this, haven't got at all. And I've been hearing about people that got it on their first time, which sucks. But anyway, we'll talk about that then. Let's speak to... Wait, who are we speaking to? Are we speaking to the hand? Really? No, we're not speaking to the hand. Oh, wow. Oh, God. Okay, so these guys are here. Ooh, that kind of blew my mind there. I don't know how I missed them. What do you want, outsider? You may have won the convocation, but I won't forgive you for breaking the spear of our hero. I've removed the gangs from your land. Are you trying to show off or something? Well, no matter. I've finished filing my complaint about the taxes, so I've got nothing else to do here. You dickhead. Oh, my God. Wow. Okay, are you going to be a douchebag as well? I removed the gangs from your land. You did? Well, that's just surprising. I suppose I can leave then. I've already filed my complaint about the taxes. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saving our asses over and over again. Ugh. I don't know why they don't want us to like the Kurziks and the Luxons like that. That worries me as well, because that could mean that they're trying to make us, like the players, feel a bit distanced from these factions, so that come Guild Wars 2 we don't mind so much that they've been integrated into the Empire, which could mean that they have no plans for them to, you know, separate from the Empire again, which would suck. I don't feel like they'd give the Kurziks and Luxons enough love, actually, if you think about it, because a big thing of most MMOs is what faction you are, and this was Guild Wars 1's stab at that, and it never really amounted to very much. But when factions came out, there was a real sense, and it only lasted a short while, but it was a time when the community of Guild Wars was very much, oh, hi, who are you? Oh, you're a, you know, not even level really came into it in Guild Wars 1. You know, MMOs, it's like, oh, what class are you? That kind of came into it. Oh, what level are you? Kind of generally, what experience are you? And a lot of the time, it's what faction are you as well. And there was a time in Guild Wars 1 where when people were like, yeah, I'm a Kurzik, and they'd actually get proud about it. But that kind of, it's gone now. It's just not there. And ArenaNet aren't really cultivating that in any way. Anyway, we'll speak to Lei Jeng, who says, they made you do what? That's absolutely ridiculous. No, more than I can believe they don't even think of this as their problem too. The Luxons and the Kurziks are vassal states. They should be serving the Empire, not the other way around. Those taxes aren't just for the Ministry of Purity either. A lot of it goes to help the citizens too. Emperor Kisu! There we go. I knew it was one of them. Kisu is quite benevolent and may let this slide. But had they tried this way with any of our previous emperors, I'm sure there would have been some serious repercussions. I'm very sorry to have put you through all of this after all you've done to help us and them in the past. Please take this as compensation for your trouble. So yeah, you can kind of see maybe it is them. Maybe this is just them setting up why the Emperor later will be happy to sort of merge them into the Empire and is going to be sick of their shit. So yeah, accept. There we go. Plus, imagine all of the problems that are going to arise for the Empire when these vassal states, like all the jade starts to melt and the amber starts to melt and all that stuff kind of ends, and that's going to throw everything into upheaval. I can imagine a lot of chaos happening there, which could lead to the integration of them into the Empire in the end. But there you go, guys. Another half-an-hour episode. What can I say? These side quests are quite long. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Part 2 is now pretty much over. I'll see you tomorrow for the dialogue. And yeah, I hope I didn't bore you with random trivia about my time on YouTube and games I used to play and stuff. And I guess I'll see you tomorrow. See you later, everyone.